You're listening to the Bare Metal Cyber Prepcast, created to help you succeed in your educational journey. Learn more at baremetalcyber.com, where additional prepcasts, books, and training materials await. Let's get started. Strategy alignment is the practice of ensuring that day-to-day product decisions build toward broader organizational goals rather than drifting into local optimization. In many organizations, teams can be highly productive yet unintentionally disconnected from mission, resulting in scattered outputs that do not compound into impact. Alignment provides a clear line of sight from strategic intent to product outcomes, showing how each backlog item contributes to something larger. It balances autonomy with coherence. Teams are empowered to adapt locally, but within a framework that sustains direction. Strategy alignment is not a one-time exercise. It requires constant translation, review, and recalibration as evidence emerges. When done well, it reduces wasted effort, accelerates decision-making, and strengthens stakeholder confidence. Strategy alignment ensures that investments in product development are not only efficient but also effective, producing results that advance the organization's mission and strategic priorities in measurable ways. Strategy to outcomes translation makes high-level goals actionable for product teams. Organizational goals are often abstract, such as expand market share or reduce compliance risk, and must be reframed into product objectives that teams can influence within their delivery cadence. For example, reduce compliance risk might translate into a product objective of automate audit trail generation to cut manual errors by 50%. This translation bridges the gap between ambition and execution, giving teams concrete, measurable outcomes to pursue. It also provides accountability, as teams can track whether their increments shift the needle. Without translation, teams are left guessing, which produces misalignment and frustration. Over time, systematic translation builds fluency. Leaders articulate strategy in terms of problems to solve, and teams respond with hypotheses and increments. This creates a rhythm of mutual understanding, where organizational goals cascade into meaningful product outcomes that compound toward mission. Value stream orientation maps how ideas flow from conception to user impact, revenue, or risk reduction. Instead of treating delivery as a black box, value streams show the end-to-end journey of value creation. This clarity helps teams see where bottlenecks lie and where to concentrate product work. For example, mapping may reveal that regulatory reviews consume more time than development itself, guiding investment toward automation in compliance workflows. Orientation to value streams shifts attention from isolated features to systemic impact, ensuring product choices target the points where they matter most. It also fosters collaboration across functions, as stakeholders see themselves as contributors to shared flow rather than isolated silos. Over time, value stream thinking prevents misalignment by anchoring strategy in the real pathways of value. It ensures that product outcomes are tied directly to organizational results, reinforcing coherence and efficiency. Portfolio themes prevent fragmentation by aggregating related bets into coherent clusters. Instead of pursuing a scatter of disconnected initiatives, strategy alignment organizes work into themes that address strategic outcomes. For example, a theme like customer trust might include efforts in security, transparency, and support experience, while scalable growth ties investments in automation, onboarding, and platform reliability. Themes enable sequencing across teams, aligning contributions into compounding results. They also provide a language for stakeholders to understand priorities without being lost in feature-level detail. Portfolio themes keep strategy visible, ensuring that small decisions connect to larger outcomes. Over time, this aggregation strengthens coherence and reduces waste, as initiatives reinforce each other instead of competing for attention. Themes also provide resilience, as shifts in context can be absorbed by adjusting within themes rather than renegotiating every individual project. Guardrails articulate the boundaries within which strategy operates, clarifying risk appetite, compliance obligations, and ethical commitments. Without them, strategy can incentivize unsafe shortcuts in the name of speed or growth. Guardrails might specify, for example, that user data privacy cannot be compromised for faster delivery, or that critical services must meet reliability thresholds. These constraints turn principles into operational guidance, protecting against misalignment under pressure. By being explicit, guardrails also empower teams. Within safe boundaries, they can innovate confidently. This reduces ambiguity, as stakeholders know which trade-offs are acceptable and which are off-limits. Over time, guardrails build trust, reassuring regulators, customers, and internal partners that strategic pursuit does not undermine responsibility. Strategy alignment succeeds not only by pointing toward goals but also by fencing off dangerous shortcuts, ensuring that progress is both ambitious and sustainable. Funding models are a crucial lever for alignment. Traditional project budgets allocate funds to fixed scopes and dates, which quickly diverge from evolving strategy. In contrast, outcome-based or capacity-based funding ties resources to strategic goals and adapts as evidence emerges. For example, instead of funding a one-off compliance project, a capacity-based model sustains a risk reduction team with recurring investment, adjusting its backlog based on signals. This approach aligns incentives. Funding flows where outcomes are achieved or potential is validated, not where paperwork commits. It also improves flexibility, allowing reallocation without bureaucratic churn. Over time, adaptive funding models build credibility as leaders see resources tied directly to measurable outcomes. They prevent sunk cost fallacies and keep product work tethered to organizational goals, ensuring that investment remains responsive, strategic, and impact-focused. Prioritization frameworks provide a disciplined way to order initiatives, preventing the loudest voices from dominating. Frameworks like cost of delay, risk reduction, and feasibility ensure that bets reflect strategic leverage. For example, a modest investment that reduces regulatory exposure may take precedence over a flashy feature with uncertain adoption. Cost of delay highlights opportunities where waiting is most expensive, while risk-based prioritization ensures vulnerabilities are addressed early. Feasibility screens out bets that cannot be credibly delivered within capacity. By making prioritization criteria explicit, organizations reduce political churn and increase transparency. Teams understand not just what is prioritized but why. Over time, prioritization frameworks build trust as stakeholders see fairness and consistency. They keep alignment intact by ensuring decisions are driven by strategic value, not personalities or momentary trends. Dependency strategy focuses on shared capabilities that unlock multiple outcomes, reducing duplicated effort. Many product outcomes hinge on enabling investments in platforms, infrastructure, or processes. For example, improving observability may support both user trust and faster release cycles. A coherent dependency strategy identifies these leverage points and invests in them systematically. This reduces waste, as multiple teams benefit from the same capability rather than reinventing solutions. It also improves alignment, as dependencies are planned and funded intentionally rather than discovered late. Over time, dependency strategy builds compounding advantage, where platform work accelerates multiple product bets. It prevents fragmentation and ensures that shared assets are maintained as strategic enablers, not underfunded afterthoughts. By managing dependencies at the portfolio level, strategy alignment ensures that systemic investments reinforce rather than undermine organizational goals. Governance fit ensures that progress is measured by evidence rather than documents. Traditional governance relies on milestone paperwork, which often obscures reality. Evidence-based governance emphasizes working increments, user signals, and validated risk controls as proof of progress. For example, a demo of a thin slice used by real customers provides more assurance than a 50-page plan. Governance fit also tailors oversight to context, reducing burden for low-risk bets while preserving rigor where stakes are high. This shift aligns governance with agile principles, turning it from obstacle to enabler. Over time, evidence-based governance builds credibility with stakeholders, as it demonstrates real outcomes rather than polished narratives. It also accelerates delivery by focusing effort on proving value, not producing paperwork. Governance fit ensures that strategy alignment is reinforced by transparency, keeping organizations accountable without slowing them unnecessarily. A metrics hierarchy links organizational key results to product indicators and team signals, preventing sprawl and contradiction. At the top level, organizational outcomes define what matters most, such as retention, market growth, or risk posture. Product-level indicators translate these into actionable measures, like adoption rates or error reductions. Team-level signals, such as cycle time or defect rates, track delivery health without being mistaken for outcomes. By aligning metrics in this hierarchy, organizations avoid the trap of optimizing local signals at the expense of strategic results. For example, improving velocity is useful only if it contributes to adoption or risk reduction. Over time, a metrics hierarchy builds coherence, helping teams see how their work ladders up to strategy. It also prevents metric theater, where success is claimed locally while organizational goals stagnate. A clear hierarchy ensures alignment is measurable and meaningful at every level. A communication rhythm keeps strategy visible and credible. Concise, regular updates explain changes in terms of outcomes, constraints, and trade-offs. For example, a quarterly update might highlight how portfolio themes evolved due to new evidence, showing what was deprioritized and why. This rhythm reduces rumor and prevents drift, as all stakeholders receive the same message. Communication focuses not on slogans but on clarity, what has changed, what remains, and how decisions align with goals. Over time, predictable updates sustain engagement, reinforcing trust that strategy is transparent and responsive. Communication rhythm turns alignment into an ongoing dialogue rather than a one-off event, embedding strategy into the cultural heartbeat of the organization. Role clarity reduces churn in high-stakes choices by defining who proposes, evaluates, and commits. Executives articulate organizational goals and approve large bets. Product leaders translate goals into portfolio themes and evaluate trade-offs. Teams propose experiments and increments within those themes. Without clarity, decisions bounce endlessly, with responsibility blurred. By codifying roles, organizations streamline alignment and reduce frustration. For example, teams know they own how to deliver within outcomes, while executives set boundaries on risk and ambition. Over time, role clarity accelerates decision cycles and reduces reversals. It ensures that strategy alignment is not undermined by confusion or turf wars. Everyone understands their lane, making collaboration smoother and decisions more coherent. Risk and compliance integration ensures that standards are built into definition of done and release practices, not bolted on later. For example, security reviews and privacy checks may be embedded into pipelines, ensuring that compliance is met continuously. This integration prevents late-stage derailments, where overlooked requirements force costly rework. It also reassures stakeholders that agility does not compromise accountability. Over time, integrated compliance strengthens trust across the ecosystem, from regulators to customers. It demonstrates that strategy alignment is holistic. Organizational goals include resilience, ethics, and safety, not just speed and revenue. This proactive approach ensures that strategy is sustainable and credible in highly regulated environments. Anti-pattern awareness keeps strategy alignment disciplined. Common traps include pet projects that divert resources without clear outcomes, vanity metrics that misrepresent progress, and watermelon reporting where dashboards appear green while underlying results are red. By calling out these behaviors, organizations maintain honesty and credibility. Anti-pattern vigilance prevents strategy from becoming a facade, ensuring that alignment reflects reality. Over time, awareness of these traps strengthens culture as stakeholders learn to question signals and demand evidence. This vigilance preserves trust and keeps alignment purposeful, not political. Feedback to strategy loops make strategy adaptive. portfolio reviews absorb learning from experiments, incidents, and market shifts, updating goals as evidence accumulates. For example, if a bet fails to produce expected adoption, reviews adjust priorities without undermining coherence. Feedback ensures that strategy evolves without fragmentation. It also sustains engagement, as teams see their insights influence direction. Over time, these loops turn alignment into a dynamic system, not a static plan. They embody agility at the strategic level, proving that learning drives adjustment while purpose remains intact. Feedback loops close the circle, keeping strategy relevant, credible, and alive. For more cyber-related content and books, please check out cyberauthor.me. Also, there are other prepcasts on cybersecurity and more at baremetalcyber.com. Policy deployment practices ensure that objectives flow coherently from top-level strategy to team-level commitments. This alignment is not one-directional. While executives set broad goals, teams provide bottom-up input on feasibility and resource needs. The process reconciles ambition with capacity, producing commitments that are both meaningful and achievable. For example, if leadership sets a goal to expand adoption in a new market, teams may clarify that additional localization work is required, adjusting milestones accordingly. Each objective is assigned an owner and measurable signals, making accountability clear. Policy deployment also reinforces transparency, as teams see how their work connects directly to organizational aims. Over time, this two-way negotiation prevents overreach and cynicism, as strategy is tempered by reality without losing aspiration. By blending top-down and bottom-up flows, policy deployment turns alignment into a dialogue, producing strategies that inspire while remaining credible and executable. Roadmap coherence ensures that strategic themes are expressed as learning milestones and option paths, not rigid lists of features tied to arbitrary dates. A coherent roadmap articulates direction while preserving flexibility. For example, a roadmap under the theme of improved retention may highlight milestones like validating onboarding friction points, testing personalized recommendations, and piloting support automation, rather than committing to a dozen fixed deliverables. This approach communicates intent without constraining adaptation. It also provides a narrative, how learning and delivery progress toward outcomes. Coherent roadmaps reduce stakeholder anxiety by offering visibility while avoiding the illusion of certainty. Over time, this practice sustains trust, as adjustments are expected and grounded in evidence. Teams remain focused on outcomes, not compliance with outdated promises. Roadmap coherence reinforces alignment by ensuring that strategy translates into navigable paths rather than brittle contracts. Investment reviews connect funding to outcomes, confidence, and time to signal. Rather than treating budgets as static, reviews evaluate whether strategic bets are still justified based on evidence. For example, a bet to expand a product line may continue if early adoption data is strong, but be scaled back if uptake lags. Reviews ask, what outcome is expected, how confident are we, and how quickly will signals emerge? This approach reallocates capacity dynamically, ensuring that resources flow where potential is validated. Investment reviews also prevent sunk cost fallacies by embedding checkpoints for reassessment. Over time, this practice creates a culture of disciplined curiosity, where funding is tied not to initial assumptions but to demonstrated learning and results. It reinforces alignment by ensuring that strategy and investment remain connected, sustaining trust with stakeholders that resources are used wisely and adaptively. Cross-team synchronization ensures that strategic bets converge into integrated systems, not isolated silos. Synchronization is achieved through shared cadences, dependency boards, and integrated demos that reveal how pieces fit together. For example, teams working on platform reliability, user experience, and compliance automation may coordinate milestones so their outputs align into a coherent release. Without synchronization, local progress may still produce global failure. Shared rhythms reduce risk by exposing misalignment early, allowing adjustments before integration pain escalates. Over time, synchronization builds systemic trust, as stakeholders see that teams deliver not just outputs, but integrated value. It also strengthens collaboration, turning strategy into shared responsibility rather than isolated targets. Synchronization ensures that alignment scales, making large portfolios coherent and resilient, with every team's work reinforcing the whole. Scenario planning prepares organizations for plausible futures, reducing the shock of unexpected events. By exploring demand spikes, regulatory shifts, or vendor disruptions in advance, teams develop adaptive options that can be activated quickly. For example, if a regulatory change might require rapid data residency compliance, scenario planning identifies what investments would accelerate adaptation. These exercises expand strategic awareness, ensuring that bets are not fragile. They also improve confidence, as stakeholders see that leadership has considered contingencies. Over time, scenario planning embeds resilience into alignment, making strategy robust to uncertainty. It prevents panic pivots, as organizations already have option paths aligned with vision and values. By rehearsing change, scenario planning ensures that alignment holds steady even when external pressures mount. It reinforces that strategy is not brittle but flexible, prepared for turbulence without losing coherence. Capacity realism protects credibility by sizing ambitions against empirical throughput and variability. Strategy often falters when aspirations exceed delivery capacity, leading to overcommitment, burnout, and missed expectations. By analyzing historical flow, variability, and staffing, organizations ground goals in evidence. For example, if throughput trends show that only 3 major initiatives can be completed annually with quality, setting 10 initiatives creates inevitable misalignment. Capacity realism matches ambition with sustainable pace, preventing cynicism and protecting morale. It also enables transparent trade-offs. If new priorities arise, others must be deferred. Over time, this discipline builds trust, as stakeholders see commitments met reliably. Capacity realism ensures that strategy is aspirational but achievable, sustaining alignment between goals and delivery. It anchors vision in reality, preserving energy and trust across the organization. Contracting and vendor strategy extend alignment beyond internal teams. External agreements must reflect outcome themes, not just deliverables. For example, instead of a fixed scope contract for a compliance tool, agreements may specify outcome indicators like audit readiness and error reduction. Vendors participate in joint demos, share roadmaps, and adapt to evidence-driven changes. This alignment ensures external work supports internal strategy, reducing misalignment at boundaries. It also builds resilience, as vendors become partners in adaptation rather than rigid executors. Over time, contracting practices that focus on outcomes create ecosystems of aligned contributors. Vendors and partners are held accountable for results, not paperwork, reinforcing coherence. External strategy alignment strengthens systemic reliability, ensuring that product outcomes reflect organizational goals even when delivery spans multiple entities. Transparency artifacts provide visible links between strategic decisions and backlog changes. For example, a portfolio board might show when initiatives were added, deferred, or retired, with rationale tied to updated goals. These artifacts reassure stakeholders that changes are principled, not arbitrary. They also help teams trace the line from backlog content to strategic outcomes, reinforcing coherence. Transparency reduces rumor and speculation, as decisions and rationales are openly shared. Over time, transparency artifacts build credibility, showing that alignment is maintained through evidence and principles. They also improve accountability, as teams can see when and why direction shifts. By embedding transparency, organizations strengthen trust and sustain alignment, even during difficult trade-offs. Risk-based sequencing prioritizes uncertainties early, using safe-to-fail increments to convert assumptions into knowledge. For example, if a product depends on an untested vendor API, sequencing an early integration test reduces risk before significant investment. This approach aligns strategy with learning, ensuring that fragile assumptions are validated quickly. Safe-to-fail increments limit blast radius, producing evidence without derailing outcomes. Risk-based sequencing prevents late surprises and builds confidence in strategy execution. Over time, it becomes a cultural habit, ensuring that the riskiest and most impactful unknowns are addressed first. This accelerates alignment, as strategy evolves with validated evidence, not wishful thinking. Sequencing risks early makes strategy more reliable, reducing costly reversals and sustaining trust with stakeholders. Benefits realization closes the loop between activity and organizational results. Shipped increments must be linked to tangible outcomes, such as improved retention, margin gains, or reduced regulatory exposure. For example, a new onboarding feature may be celebrated only when adoption increases measurably, not when the code is delivered. This linkage reinforces accountability, showing whether strategy is truly advancing goals. Benefits realization also informs future prioritization, as leaders learn which bets deliver outsized returns. Over time, this practice shifts culture away from output theater toward evidence of impact. Stakeholders trust strategy alignment when outcomes, not activity, are the focus. Benefits realization sustains coherence by keeping attention on what matters. Delivering measurable value aligned with mission. Organizational change alignment ensures that strategic shifts are feasible by coordinating enablement, hiring, and platform work. For example, a strategy to expand into AI-driven services may require new skill sets, updated tooling, and cultural shifts in experimentation. Without supporting change, product goals remain aspirational but unattainable. Alignment ensures these enablers are funded, scheduled, and integrated with delivery. This coordination prevents strategy from outpacing organizational capacity. Over time, change alignment strengthens resilience, ensuring that strategy is matched by the means to achieve it. It turns vision into reality by addressing the human and systemic shifts required, making alignment durable and credible. Compliance evidence is integrated into tooling so that audits and approvals are part of normal flow, not disruptive afterthoughts. For example, pipelines may automatically log approvals and generate reports for regulators. This approach aligns strategy with governance, ensuring that agility does not sacrifice accountability. Compliance evidence reassures external stakeholders while keeping delivery fast and auditable. Over time, this integration builds efficiency and trust. It demonstrates that alignment is holistic, balancing speed with responsibility. Compliance is no longer a late obstacle but a continuous, embedded safeguard, ensuring that strategic outcomes are both achieved and verifiable. Anti-drift checks compare backlog content to strategic objectives, pruning items that no longer serve goals. Over time, product backlogs accumulate legacy items or local optimizations disconnected from mission. By regularly auditing and removing misaligned work, organizations preserve coherence. For example, if a feature does not connect to any outcome theme, it is deferred or retired. Anti-drift checks sustain focus, ensuring capacity is not wasted. They also reinforce transparency, as stakeholders see that strategy drives content. Over time, this discipline prevents fragmentation and builds trust, showing that alignment is maintained continuously. Backlogs remain lean, relevant, and tied to organizational goals, sustaining efficiency and coherence. Success definition anchors strategy alignment in tangible outcomes. Success is not just polished roadmaps but faster decision cycles, higher hit rates on strategic goals, and fewer late reversals due to misalignment. For example, if teams consistently deliver increments that advance retention or risk reduction, alignment is proven. If decisions accelerate because priorities are clear, success is confirmed. Success is measured by coherence between goals and outcomes, not by activity. Over time, clear definitions sustain credibility, ensuring that strategy alignment is judged by results. It builds trust with stakeholders, proving that alignment reduces waste, improves outcomes, and strengthens organizational agility. Strategy alignment synthesis emphasizes that coherence requires more than ambition. It requires structures that link funding, themes, governance, and feedback to outcomes. Outcome-based funding, portfolio themes, evidence-driven governance, and transparent recalibration keep product work tied to mission. Synchronization, capacity realism, and benefits realization ensure ambition is achievable and impactful. Anti-pattern vigilance and feedback loops preserve credibility. Done well, strategy alignment transforms product development from a collection of busy teams into a coordinated system where every decision compounds toward organizational goals, delivering results that are both reliable and trusted. Thanks for tuning in to the Bare Metal Cyber Prepcast, your trusted source for cybersecurity news and insights. Remember to subscribe at baremetalcyber.com so you never miss an update. And visit cyberauthor.me for best-selling cybersecurity books that equip you with expert knowledge. Until next time, stay secure and stay vigilant.